Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 10K Project. My name is Tawana Rivers. This is this week's Bet on Black Pitch, and we have another amazing founder, Mr. Tannen Andrews, who's going to talk to you about the project he's been working on for a long time. This man is a visionary in his own right. You're going to see that here soon for yourself. I am just grateful the law has finally caught up to what he has planned for us for about 30 years. You heard that right. 30 years he's been working on this, and finally it is coming to fruition because the law is allowing him to be able to do some amazing things for this community. With that said, I want to welcome everyone. If you're watching this on replay, thank you for joining us and taking the time to watch. For everyone who is here with us live, you guys know I absolutely love you because the energy and the vibe is not the same without all of you showing up here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. in real time to show love to our Black founders. So with that said, I am going to share my screen and go to the campaign page. I want you to see that. Let me go to. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. For some reason it's not sharing my.
What's acting up?
Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's acting up. There we go. Okay, you guys can see the campaign page, right? Wonderful. Okay, so this campaign is on TrueCrowd's website. We've only been on TrueCrowd maybe 2 or 3 times, so really excited to introduce to many of you for the first time a new portal. You know, as you guys know, there's about 70 plus of them now, and we scour all of them to find the best and the brightest in Black entrepreneurship. And so TrueCrowd is where Tannen's campaign is. Tannen's company is Consumer Cooperative Group. He has currently raised in this round on this platform $70,497. There are 15 days left in this campaign. He has 132 investors through this campaign raise. Minimum investment is $100 minimum investment. This is a stock opportunity. You know, we've talked about the different opportunities. Sometimes we have safe notes, sometimes we have debt deals. This is a stock opportunity, okay? And Tannen can talk a little bit more about that when he goes. But I just want to show you TrueCrowd's site a little bit. You know, I always tell you that it's important to look at the campaign page in its entirety because the founders put a lot of time and energy making sure that everything they know you need and everything they know you're going to ask is here for you to easily get the information. If you have the need to get additional information outside of what's listed here, there's always a space on the portal for you to be able to reach out to the founders to get additional information. And actually, the law requires these portals to have the Q&A sections. You can see up here on TrueCrowd site, it's up at the top of the page. There's documents, there's updates, there's the pitch itself. You can see information about the team. And so please take time to look at this thoroughly when you're doing your due diligence, determining if this investment fits in your portfolio. All right. We're going to put the campaign link in the chat throughout the evening. So you'll have it. It'll take you right to this page. This is the campaign link that you'll share with all your family and friends. It's the campaign link you'll put on your social media profiles because you want to highlight to all of the people that you know the amazing work that this founder is doing. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing. And Tannen, this is where I hand it over to you, sir.
All right. How's everyone doing tonight? My name is Tannen Andrews. I'm the founder and CEO of Consumer Cooperative Group and the founder of Co-oponomics. And Co-oponomics is cooperatives and economics mashed together. And it really stands for I'm taking the cooperative methodology and I'm combining it with the economics of a neglected and underserved community of investors, which today they call us non-accredited investors. I've been doing this since almost 31 years now. When I was mentored, I had a mentor that came in and didn't charge me anything to teach me how. When I asked him what he did, and I asked him to show me, and he showed me, took the time out, explained to me, broke down some things that that still have not been told today. Still not today. We have a lot of rebranding of different things. Get rich quick schemes and all these type of things. But this brother, he took the time, broke down some things to me, and I took that opportunity and put some stuff together back in the mid to late 90s. But I ran into a brick wall because legislation wasn't there. We weren't able to tap. I think one thing Tawana didn't address, that I'm going to address, that our campaign is a pre-IPO. And that's what legislation allowed us to do. Legislation came into place to where we're able to create a pre-IPO, and we're able to actually offer that to this neglected and underserved market of investors that never had that opportunity. Now, that legislation, what that did was it allowed what we couldn't do before, is we couldn't get involved with early stage companies. And that's where everyone was missing out on. That means being able to get the stock early. Now we have an opportunity to get the stock early, because this is how the wealth gap was being created. This is how it was being expanded, and it was leaving us behind. We were so focused, and they had us so focused on the retail aspect of it. So everybody now thinks, oh, Wall Street and New York Stock Exchange, oh, wow, we're going to go and get some stock, you see, but you're going to get the stock where the price has already been inflated. So this is the type of thing that I was trying to materialize, trying to create in the late 90s, early 2000s. But like I said, legislation wasn't there. I knew that was our portal, and that was our way in, is being on Wall Street. And the only way that we could do that, the laws had to change. So I put all of it together, and just over the years, I was buying real estate, trucking business, logistics, a lot of the different things that I was doing, just moving along, not knowing that this was going to take place in 2012. So between 2012 and 2016, the Jobs Act came into play. And when it came into play, that's when I started putting all of these elements together. Because I think one of the key elements that was never brought to people's attention is their ability to, when they create a company, there's more to just creating a company. Because remember, all the companies that are on Wall Street, they were all once private companies. So when no one asked that question, when they were private companies, how much was their stock at that time? Who was getting access to that stock for pennies on the dollar at that particular time? And now you have these multi-billions and some multi-trillion-dollar companies, and no one asks, how did that process work? That's the process that we teach. Not only are you going public with us, we're actually teaching you and educating you on the process of how you capitalize your business, how you create the stock, and how you create ownership through issuing your own stock when you create your own company. So you can duplicate this type of process that we're doing right now. Now, what we're buying, what I decided to do was to give equity. And we have the company's a real estate investment cooperative. Now that's our term, because you might be familiar with REITs, real estate funds, or real estate syndications. But we created a real estate investment cooperative. We call it a REC, and it's going to be a competitor to these other type of investment vehicles. These other type of investment vehicles they weren't built for us. They were built for the wealthy. So you have to have X amount of dollars to be able to produce any type of passive income or benefit from investing in those type of vehicles. REC is different. What REC does is it gets the lower the non-accredited investors, the ones that wouldn't normally qualify as an accredited investor to reach certain type of investments, the ability to access stock at a wholesale cost. Because all of this is about wholesale, about manufacturing, wholesale, and retail. Okay. And we have to decide, or you have to decide, what point in that chain do you want to enter in your investment? Do you want to enter it into the manufacturing portion where you create your company and you create the stock? Now think about that. When you create your company, you create the stock the same way Apple did, the same like the way Tesla did, the same way. You see, that's the entry point that you want to start at. Before the Jobs Act, you weren't able to access those type of companies. You were only able to access them after already publicly traded. So when you hear a company doing an IPO, it's already too late. Okay, that stock has already been inflated. And when you invest in those publicly traded companies after on the retail side, your wealth begins right there. You have an opportunity where your wealth can start at pennies on the dollar. But someone had to teach you this. Someone has to show you this, because this is going on now, but no one is teaching you that methodology, something that's always being used and always has been used to increase the wealth in this country. So now you think about that. You have the opportunity to learn how to duplicate this. Okay. And the assets, and what we decided to do it was real estate, because real estate is the foundation of everything. So that's the first thing we do. Let me take that back. The first thing we do is prep the company. We're prepping the company right now to get it ready to go public. That means doing everything. That means putting it together, putting the team together, registering, getting the shares prepared to be registered. There's a slew of process that deals with the company. People start companies and don't realize how much actual work is behind it. When I teach you this, when you become a member, right, of the co-op, and you're also an investor, members get free education, free workshops. All of this stuff is already built in to teach you how to do this, because it's just like when a player goes professional, correct? And they're getting ready to have access to all this money. They're never prepared. Never prepared. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to prepare you before you happily access this type of capital. You see, so then that way we're not repeating the same generational movements that we've done in society, where we're passing now, we're getting into debt and whatnot and stuff like that. We're trying to eliminate the aspect of debt and start focusing on assets. So you won't own the real estate like directly, you'll own it indirectly, because the stock that you get is equity. So it will serve like a derivative of the company of the real estate. You see what I mean? So the company owns the real estate, but you own the company through the stock. And the benefit to that is that if this was a real estate fund or real estate REIT, you would have to ask for permission to get your money out. which then they would have to sell the asset, and then they would have to, give you the money minus whatever fee that it costs to do that. But what's the beauty of what REC is, in the way that we're issuing equity stock, you're able to get the stock and hold the stock, because that is the asset. Once we register it and apply to list and trade, that stock now becomes a liquidable asset. You don't have to ask me for permission. You can leverage it. You can do whatever you need to do. You see, no debt, assets. And that's what we wanted. That's the main thing that we want to focus on, is educating people about how to create their business, how to capitalize them, how to create the original stock, create your company as if you're going to go public or not. You always want to have it ready, because you got to remember, there's a lot of investors out there, venture capitalists, whatnot. They're all out there. They're watching how you structure your company. If you're not structuring your company right, that's how a lot of great ideas, intellectual property gets stolen, because no one formed their entity correct. So you'll see me a lot when you hear me talking, see any of my videos, you'll hear me speaking about structure a lot, because structure is the foundation of this company, of this co-op. That's the first thing. First thing and foremost is we put in the work first, then we talk about the real estate. I never talk about the real estate before the work, because the work is put in all the components into place, and then we go to the real estate. And then after that, there's other things that we deal with, like like setting up trust, how to operate in commerce, understanding who you are as a creditor versus a debtor. All these things that haven't been taught in school and have not been taught to you, all this is part of the membership. So I always like to say and think that, and one of our motto is that when you invest with us, you always get equal or more value for your dollar than any other company. And that's what separates us from everyone. Anyone that's in business is what the value that we bring to you, real value, not just hype value. Say, hey, you can come in, boop, whatever. No, we actually give you more value than your dollar, because we want to duplicate this process with you. We want you to do the same thing that we're doing, because right now we are building what we call, I created a system called the Green Book Protocol. And the Green Book Protocol in all of this is, by duplicating this process, getting to Wall Street, getting access to this liquidity, helping you establish and create these various types of relationships, and so you can duplicate this process. And the Green Book Protocol is a network, a directory of our members and their businesses. So that way we have an ecosystem of businesses that we can patronize with one another through our newly created website that will be coming out September 1st, to where you have access, we have access to your businesses or whatnot. And if I want to travel, or someone else wants to travel, we're able to look at state-specific, city-specific, what businesses is being over there. So that way, when we're in town, we know to go to patronize with those businesses. There's no system like that. None. And no one's trying to create that type of system, not at that scale. That's what we're doing. We're not just, like I said, we're just not doing the real estate. We're doing all of this. Of course, this is not all in the campaign. I'm just trying to give you a little backstory of a lot of this, so that you would understand, but like I said, our vision is we want to offer investors a pool investment program that involves the purchase of valuable multifamily properties with funds contributed by the cooperative members and the investors. Okay. In exchange, members receive equity, stock, indirect real estate ownership in our real estate ownership system on a proportion that is based on their investment and passive income. This model is designed to create sustainable and equitable growth for all shareholders while preserving affordability to investors in all communities across America. That is the basis of our vision. Now, our traction, what we're using, we have a 3-step crowdfunding methodology. Right now, we're using Regulation CF, Regulation Crowdfunding, which was created under the Jobs Act. The next phase that we currently have filed with the SEC right now is our Regulation A. That's the next step to start the process to list and trade on. We're going for the New York Stock Exchange American, and that would be the next step in that 3-step crowdfunding methodology. The market opportunity that we're trying to convey is to non-accredited investors. That's anyone that's making under $300,000 a year with married, and also anyone that has less than 1 million or has less than 1 million in assets. Direct access to public capital. There's less restrictive paperwork. You have access to startups and pre-IPOs. Equity and debt is at the fraction of a cost that we'll be able to spend, because we have stock, we'll have that leverage. You'll be able to duplicate and do the exact same thing. This is the wealth creation process for new investors. That's because of the wholesale price. So I want y'all to think about this. We already practice and do this. We already focus on wholesale and we focus on retail. We already do that right now because we don't buy retail. Sometimes we have to wait and see things to go on sale, and then we'll purchase goods and services. Stock is no different. Business like this is no different. So right now we're in the wholesale aspect of it. Now you get that stock. Of course, it's private. All stock starts at private. Now this is a path. Going public is a path to liquidity. That means you're able, once we register these shares, the shares then will be liquidable, meaning you'll be able to turn them into cash. So that's very important. Everybody wants to, I think me and Tawana spoke on this, everybody wants to make money. Anybody can make money. We don't want to make money. We want to build assets, because as long as we have the asset, we can always convert it into the cash on an emergency basis. So if it's not an emergency basis, keep it in the asset so the asset can continue to contain and build value. That's the stock that's in the company. The more stock that you have, you see, the more investments that we buy, more multifamily properties that we buy, the more value and increased value in those shareholdings that you have, and the more liquidity that you have, and the more leverage that you have. And together, the more purchasing power that the co-op has, because the co-op is the investment vehicle when we go public. You see, long as the co-op is in the front, is trading, the value is always passing back down to the shareholders. They've been doing it for over 224 years, and we've never been in there. We're in there now. Even though you're not in there now, I'm teaching you the way. This has always been the way. These are the questions. These are the questions, like with my mentor, these are the questions that I was asking. These are the questions that he couldn't answer. These are the questions that I found out through trial and error over the past close to 30-some years, figuring this out, putting all the pieces together, establishing the correct relationships. When you create a business, you have to understand the relationships that you have to create. And then to do that, you have to know who those relationships are going to be. I'm going to walk you through that. I've been walking through my investors, walking them through the relationships on how, when you start a business and how you get to liquidity. And since I've been presenting this evening, you not heard me one time. You haven't heard me say anything about a bank, have you? No, you haven't heard me say anything about a bank, because it's not about the bank. It's always been about us. We're the creditor. We have the power. We just didn't have the tools. You have the tools now. I'm showing you how to use these tools, and I'm providing the tools for you. So then that way we can duplicate this process, you see, because we can have a relationship with the bank, but it's all about what type of relationship that we want to have with the bank. Do we want to be in a relationship with a bank in a weak position? Or do we want to be in a power position when we're dealing with the banks to get a better rate? Because remember, debt, there's two sides of debt. There's good debt and the bad debt. And it's always based on that inflation rate. Anything under the inflation rate is good debt. Anything over that inflation rate is bad debt. And we always want to focus on the good debt, because if we go into debt and it's costing us less, that cost of money is less than what we got it for. You see, now we're making money on that debt. You see what I'm saying? By taking out on that property. So those are the type of strategies that we utilize. Those are the type of strategies that you, as a member and investor, you will always be informed of that. You will always be shown and walk through that process. You will always be in the know as we're doing each one of the things. There's always full disclosures. None of that BS. You see what I mean? Oh, we're just giving out information just because we're supposed to give it out. No, we're giving out the information because it's required for you to have that. Because I don't want to just build, I don't just want you investing. I want you to be a part of the family, the cooperative family. You see what I mean? Because we're going to continue to do business and have this relationship for life. That's if you choose to, because we're going to take care of our members first. You see what I mean? Anything that we purchase, we utilize the purchasing power to make sure that we have financial resources or other type of resources and tools, and make those available to our members that are part of the co-op. So then that way they have the tools at a dramatic cost reduction. You see what I mean? Because of our purchasing power. And that's what all this is about, purchasing power for sustainability. And we don't get this talk. We don't never get this talk from investors. We just say, give me. They all say, give me money. No. People have to, one thing that I do is people, if you want to be a part of this co-op, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to put some work in. You got to put some work in, because how are you going to understand what's being offered to you and what's being given to you? And that's that value that I was speaking of, that value that's equal or more than the dollar that you put in. How are you going to be able to calculate the value that you're receiving from your investment if you're not understanding what's being given to you? So I try to make sure that we focus on that. But like I said, we're going to deal with the problem. We talked about that. I mentioned it slightly earlier, the wealth gap. There's a wealth gap. Investment thresholds are too high. You've seen some of these real estate investments come out with this Reg CF. They're trying to charge you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get. Investment thresholds are too high. We need something that's a little bit lower, and a little bit per share needs to be a little bit lower, so people can build you need to be able to build the stock up. Don't worry about the value, worry about the quantity. When it comes to stock, when it's pennies on the dollar, because you think about it. I know Tawana showed you on the screen there, the minimum investment is $100. It's at a penny per share. That's 10,000 shares. You're not going to be able to get 10,000 shares from no public company, or no any of those companies that are out at that cost for $100. You're not going to get that. You see what I mean? Because I know the price is going to appreciate, because it's based on a product that's already been proven. Real estate has already been proven. It's not something that I have to create. It's already sitting there. That's why I focus on the work first, the training and the education of you, so you can understand and look at how your value in your stock is going to increase over a period of time. You see what I mean? You have to see that calculation, because they don't show you that now because of all the hype. Oh, buy this, boy, all the shiny things, celebrities, everything. They're bringing you all this stuff in to take you off the focus of putting in the work and looking at the numbers and looking at the structure. The structures are very important. These numbers are very, very important. Pay attention to them, because they're going to help guide you into that next level. Now, the part of that other problem, like I said, there's no equity ownership. Everybody wants to just give you They want you to buy stock, and then they don't give you an equitable position. You always have to have equity. Equity shows you ownership. That shows you have a piece. You're always attached to that. Of course, we have financial gatekeepers. They're part of that process to keep you at bay, to make sure that you are not focusing on the things that I'm explaining to you. Neglected and underserved investors, they need this information. Then we go into that predatory lending. You have that predatory lending where they're lending you and then you're getting yourself into debt. You never start business with the debt. I never started this business with the debt. When the Jobs Act came out, I created the business 2017, fresh and clean, and put in my own money to fund this whole enchilada from the get-go to make sure that it stays stable before people come in. And that's to keep out any past liability. You always have to have a fresh, clean company. And I'm going to show you how we did that. And also too, we never had any market capital access. Now our solution is we're creating a real estate investment pooling portal, which is the cooperative. It's a peer-to-peer investment network, affordable investing as a cooperative group. We pool our resources together to buy this cash flowing assets. In exchange, you get equity stock based on the investment amount you put in per share or whatever's being offered at the time. And that becomes your holding. And then you're going to calculate your ROI based on everything, because there's two formulas to an ROI. And I want to make sure everyone understands that. ROI, I put in money, you say you're going to give me a 10% return, I get that principal back, and I get that 10% return on there, and then you do and then that's what your ROI is. But there's another ROI. There's another component that you calculate in there. You have to calculate the stock now, the value that you put in for the stock, the appreciation of that stock. And then you calculate your ROI. You see what I mean? And you'll get two different formulas. You'll be like, well, wait a minute, I want equity instead of giving you a loan and you giving me 10%. You have to pick which ROI you want. Okay, so equity stock ownership, the elimination of red tape. You create a market for equity shares to access the liquidity on Wall Street, like we were talking about. And the basic, and I'm gonna close out. I'm just gonna close out with that because I know you probably have a lot of questions. And Tawana, please remind me if I miss anything. And I forgot to mention what we talked about earlier. Please.
I think a few things will come up when we ask the questions.
Yeah. Okay. And just at to close this out real quick. The business model is very simple. You invest, we buy, we collect the rent, we split the profits. Bottom line, you have equity in the company, and whatever profits that we get from the cash flow from the real estate, after all expenses are paid, they're split. Everything is split 50-50. Monthly, we work our way up to monthly distributions, just like a paycheck. Put a week in, month in, whatever, and then we start issuing those dividends when it's feasible for them to be done. Let's see. Of course, the team is made up of me, my wife Tamika. We have a legal counsel law firm that we have on retainer for consulting purposes only, because all legal documents, all filings I did myself, so I don't delegate that power out to third parties. If I'm going to convey my message is going to be through me, my writings. And any questions that need to be answered could be done through me. We have a transfer agent, Core Connects. We're working with a couple of broker dealers. We haven't pinned it down. We have some technology stack that we're creating with this new website and stuff like that. So we have several technology stacks that we're creating to make sure that we have this membership directory and business directory for our members. To where they can cross patronize with, do business with, and whatnot. We also have a store, and we also have a course website, because I took the main website that we had. We was having some problems, and I took them up and I split them into several websites that are being distributed to on different servers, so that way you have a more fluid experience with our network and what we're trying to accomplish. And then also we have Marcus Millichap. They are our professional brokers. They find all of our multifamily properties that we will be acquiring across the United States, all professionally prepared. I don't look for anything. Everything is done by these professionals. That's their job. That's their duty. That's the purpose of the Jobs Act. The Jobs Act is there for us not to just create a business, find liquidity on Wall Street, but to actually create and maintain the current jobs that are in place right now.
Wonderful.
I'll close it on that.
Wonderful. So I've got a couple of questions for everybody else. Put your questions in the Q&A. I already see quite a few in there. I'm going to start us off. I got 3 questions. The first question I have is, tell us a little bit about your personal background from a professional standpoint.
Let's see. I started my first business at 19. It was a logistics. I was delivering pharmaceuticals in my little Ford Escort out in East Texas. That was the first business. I've always had, entrepreneur spirit from the get-go, and later that developed into the real estate when I met my mentor. I've always had the real estate. I've had the real estate experience since '96. Logistics and transportation, I've had that since 1991. That escalated into me having a full-fledged logistic trucking business, contracts with Sears, all while I was purchasing brand new single-family residence in Southwest Dallas through I had a partnership with a builder direct, and what we did was I told this story one last other time on my other interview, but I'm gonna tell this one more time. I don't like telling this story, but I'm gonna go to tell you this story because that's
Okay.
for one, short of love. My mentor wasn't able to. He didn't teach me some things that I learned on my own. Where I bought 25 single family properties with $115,000. That's all because I knew the builder. So we had to improvise because he was building all these houses. So we had to do rolling closes with the same 15,000 for 6-7 months until we bought $1 million some worth of real estate. And all of those single family properties were put on subsidized housing with the Dallas Housing Authority for young families trying to come up and get up, and some of them we eventually sold to them on the program to where they became homeowners and stuff like that through that process. But just the real estate. My background's in that real estate, everything, the management, the construction aspect of it, the maintenance aspect of it. Everything, from the land to, oh my goodness, from land patents to how the whole system infrastructure works with real estate, what's there and what's not. That led into the background of banking. I'm very well versed and trained in the banking industry, and not from the traditional, sense, to where you think that how banking works. Banking operates another way than you think it does. So I educate and bring that. I have videos on my website or actually on YouTube now until I get them back on the website, where that goes over those little those details, and that caused me to get into other ventures as well. In the late 2000s, I purchased 10 tractor trailers. So I took my logistics business to another level.
Nice.
10 tractor trailers, 3 box trucks, 2 expediters, and expediters are those commercial trucks that have the sleeper on them with the box truck on the back. Those were the expediters. And then boom, we've come full circle again. So it was always the logistics, the real estate, the logistics, and back into the real estate, and then back into logistics. Now we're back in the real estate again. So
Nice.
that's always been my bread and butter, and learning different things as it comes along. So that's and
Wonderful.
so much more experience. I can go on and on with the experience.
No, that was good. That was really good. I wanted the family to understand. You didn't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to start a real estate investment." Like this. That's not what this is.
No, I hope the way that you hear me talk, knowing that I just didn't wake up thinking that.
That's right. Next question: how are the funds going to be used?
Well, the funds right now, the funds that we have in that come in now, those are to, like I said, we're putting the infrastructure together, making sure that everything is right, all administrative. But the main funds of it is we raised the full 5 million, or get closer to the full 5 million. That's when we'll start doing real estate acquisitions to increase the value of our shares over the time. So then that's the whole thing: put in the work, put the infrastructure together. It's no different than if you're trying to put a product on the shelf at Walmart, right? You have to prep the product, you have to prep it for pre-market, and get it all registered, get barcodes, whatever you need to do to get it listed and trackable on when it gets placed on the shelf. So that's the same thing. That's the same thing that what we're doing: prepping the company, getting it ready in the pre-market, start the process of getting the value raised, moving the step through our 3-step methodology from Reg CF to Reg A, which like I said, we currently have a Reg A, and then reaching the amount of money that we need. Then we'll start making the acquisition when the time is strategically ready for those acquisitions.
Good. Then my final question is,
are you all right, Tuan?
I'm okay. The water went down the wrong way. I'm good. If I pass out, y'all keep going. This is important. It's all good. I'll be fine. Why a cooperative? Why not do it like everyone else does it?
Well, you have to think about it. It goes back into the history. We never knew what a corporation is. So if we understand what corporations are not really for the people. That infrastructure is not really for the people, and people don't understand that. And so just like we have to know that the state is a corporation. We know the federal government's a corporation. We know all of this all by the laws and stuff. If you understand and read the laws, you understand that. So I wanted to go with the model that was tailored for the people, the original entity that was in place before corporations became in existence, and that's what cooperatives were. Cooperatives are democratic entities. They are for the people. Like-minded people, might add. Let me put that in. This is very important. Cooperatives are for like-minded individuals who come together, pool their capital resources together for their common goal. And that's what that is. The common goal here is the financial awareness and the financial upliftment and the financial generational wealth that needs to be created. The only way that we're going to create wealth is amongst ourselves, and we have to have a vehicle for that. So the cooperative is the perfect tool for that. Even though we adopted those principles, the cooperative principles, but we utilize the corporation's structure to issue capital stock in order to raise capital to access the cash or liquidity or flash flow to purchase goods and services through our purchasing power. So that's the reason why cooperative.
Very good. So the first question, Ty Stanbeck says, and I think you answered this, but I want to just go over it again. Are you buying the blocks or individual residences?
No, we're buying we're buying multifamilies, but let's elaborate on that. So we want to keep it keep it kind of with the multifamily, because multifamilies, let me tell you the importance about why we're doing the multifamilies. Multifamilies, you have to look at it this way. Multifamilies are always going to be owned by LLCs or some type of entity. Multifamilies are already businesses. They already have cash flow. So when everyone says they buy properties, I say I merge with the companies that own the cash flowing asset, because they already have a historical value. They already have a historical value, they already have a current value, and then we're able to calculate the future value of that. And that's easily makes it easy for us to determine the stock value. What we're going, or how we're going to create our future value for our stock. But we're not just buying the real estate. No, we're going to actually be buying more than just blocks. We're going to be buying multifamily blocks, and eventually we're looking at creating our own, buying enough land to where we create our own municipality separate from the current municipalities that are already in place, because we need a space for our people to actually be able to grow without any type of hindrance. You see, we can't change the laws, but we can go and create the city, become a municipality through incorporation. That's what I was telling you earlier. Cities, states, they're all incorporation. So if we're buying up land, building up the infrastructure, creating that creates the sustainability for what we're trying to do, we'll be able to create our own municipality and be able to access and do things that we normally are not accustomed to. And a lot of the things that I'm explaining and showing you the possibilities of what we can do. And these are not what they call, this is not a hype thing. This is not like, oh, we can do this and go. No, it's being done. It's being done in front of us. It's been done in front of us for decades. All we have to do, someone just like myself, I just picked up the book and I read the laws, and I read their structure, how everything that can be done is already written. Yeah. But no one explains that to you. They always give you the best side of things, but I like to give you the work. I said, this is the work that needs to be done. This is what we need to do first. We need to create our financial foundation first, which is the liquidity on the New York Stock Exchange. Once we're publicly traded, then we have access to whatever we need to access.
Nice. Ty also says, can you also explain the thought process or pros and cons behind picking the crowdfunding platform that you picked? So why True Crowd?
Well, I've had the knowledge that I have. The crowdfunding is new. They're new. The only other crowdfunders that were there before were Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but those were non-regulated funding portals, crowdfunding portals, where when you invest you're not investing on, you're donating for a perk. So the legislation with the Jobs Act made it to where small businesses actually can create and issue securities directly. So that's the difference, the securities. And people don't focus on the power behind that security. So, I bring, True Crowd. So a lot of True Crowd, I picked them because we was having issues with the other crowdfunding portals, because they were trying to manipulate the situation. But thankfully, I was already educated prior to, so it was kind of a bumping of the head. They were trying to get money. I said, well, no, I've already did all the work. So why would you charge me for something I've already done? I already know how to do my filings. I already know how to do my paperwork and all of this and stuff like that. I know the law, I know the structure, everything, you see. So I picked True Crowd because True Crowd, they are the people's portal. Because when I went there, they didn't fuss with me. They didn't challenge me. They like, oh, you got everything together? Oh, blah, blah, and went through make sure everything was good, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I was up, and I was up and running.
Nice.
So that's the reason why they don't give you that headache. I mean, you should just look at, just pay attention to these crowdfunding portals, the ones that you see all the time, and then the ones that you don't see. That's very important. Because everyone says it's always about marketing, but the marketing tells you the story about the class and the what do they call that? It tells you a lot about the company, you know, their inner workings. And I got to see the inner workings of other crowdfunding portals, and see, that's some stuff that y'all never see. And you see, and I'm able to explain those things and stuff like that, and those experiences with them and what they do. And it's some of the stuff that they do is not nice. You know,
we've heard that about some of the big portals. We've heard some of those things. I will do this. And I don't typically do this because we're kind of portal agnostic around here, although I do have my favorite that I'm not gonna hide. When you do that Reg A, you need to consider Crowd Wall Street, brother. They are doing Crowd Wall Street. Black owned, operated, they're new, but they are building a machine that is meant to take care of our people.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
I'll definitely connect you. I'll make an introduction, but I don't typically give portal advice, because it's a personal choice, right? But I'm telling you,
exactly.
The Crowd Wall Street team, Seat at the Table is good too, another Black owned portal, but I cannot hide the fact that I am partial for Crowd Wall Street. I just am.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because you know, the first I don't know if y'all know this, the first crowdfunding portal, Black owned crowdfunding I went to was By the Block.
By Lynn Smith. Yeah.
And that wasn't a good experience.
I've heard that as well, but she only focused on real estate at the time, but I'm telling you, the Crowd Wall Street guys, they are building something amazing. Again, shout out to Seat at the Table, two Black owned portals that are operating right now, both great companies. I'll make you some introductions.
Check it out. See what's going on. But that's so everybody knows, that's always my thing. The first thing that I always do, I'm always looking for my my Black owned businesses to do business with. That's what I just hired on an interim basis, a CTO and a COO, and I met them through Fanbase. You see, nice. So when we were going through that, and they didn't know that it was coming. You see what I mean? So that's what I do. I'll sit back and I'll look, and I'm watching what you're doing, because that's what I want you to do with me. Watch what I'm doing. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Watch what I'm doing. Watch what I'm doing, because I'm doing something no one else is doing. No one doesn't want to do or can do. You see, at the time. You see what I mean? But I want to change that. There's only one Black owned company publicly traded on the NASDAQ. One. She's a sister. Only one. Yep. We need to change that. We gotta change that. That tells you where the wealth is. That tells you where the wealth is. And then you know the wealth is there, because look, all the bailouts went to Wall Street. Mm-hmm. So it would have been kind of cool for us to be publicly traded, because we would have got a bailout. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? The bailouts go to corporations. So that's why we have to focus on this structure, how to sell our stock, understand what the stock is, how to produce it, how to create it, how to exchange it in exchange for our intellectual property, to create that ownership at the initiation of the capitalization stage of the business. Once you do that, you're in a power position. Because I was telling a lot of the people on Fanbase, they are entertainers. And this is one thing that I told them, and it probably made them mad, but that's what it is. Stop putting your talent first. Put your business first. You take your business and wrap it up. That's your intellectual property. Wrap it up into your business in exchange for that stock. So that way that business owns that intellectual property. Then approach the business, the talent agencies, to do whatever. You see what I mean? Now they have to deal with your business, because it owns the IP. Not you. So you can't sign away nothing. You see, when you leave with your IP, when you leave with your IP, you're signing away the documents that they create. And that's how they steal your rights to your music, your performance, your IP for 30, 40, 50 years. You see, no one teaches that till now. We got to get our stuff together so we can move away from a lot of this crap, so we can start building. So we have the opportunity to build unmolested, you see, so.
Yeah. So Beulah, talk a little bit about membership. So Beulah's question was, does $100 serve as the membership? Let's talk a little bit about the membership and what you get from membership, what's included.
Well, the membership is separate. The $100 is that's the investment, but you get free, you get a year membership with that. You know, you don't know that, but I just put that. It just says right there. If you look at it, it just says cooperative membership. But it breaks it down when you go into the bonus section and stuff like that. But when the sites back up, when I talk about entry level, entry barriers, right? People might not have $100. So the website on the membership side, there's a program over there on that side that helped them earn membership and earn stock and earn vested stock. You see what I mean? So that way they can work for their stock. You see, anytime that you patronize with us, whether it be on YouTube or you're paying your $12 membership dues. When you pay your $12 membership dues, $6 every 6 months or whatever or whatnot, there's a vesting schedule happening. You're earning shares through that membership by watching videos. You see it because it's watching what you're doing, all your studying that you're doing, learning what's going on. You're earning your shares, earning a portion, keeping you locked in. So when these prices go up and stuff, you're locked in as long as you don't let your membership expire. So that's what the membership is about. There's so many perks, and you'll be made aware that when the site relaunches on September 1st, you're going to realize all the benefits that you'll receive. And that means when we start purchasing real estate, when we start creating our banks, when we start creating our insurance, all of that and stuff like that, you as a member you're being grandfathered in, you have access to those type of things, because we have to build our industry. And this is the start for that. And the membership, being a part of that membership, guarantees you a position to be able to benefit from price-wise. Some of it's free, and some of it's, it's heavily discounted and stuff, because like I said, purchasing power. As long as we have that purchasing power, we're able to deliver goods and service to you at a far reduced price than what society is doing right now. We have to take care of ourselves.
I want to share my screen again real quick because I want to show the bonus section. So I think this is it. So for the bonus, if you look at the second bullet, when you invest $500 to $999, you get 5 years of active cooperative membership. And then if you go down to the next bullet, when you invest $1,000 or more, you get a lifetime membership. And it sounds like what Tannen just said also is if you invest the $100, you get a 1-year membership. Is that what you said? Is one of the perks as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So
just make note of those perks. Y'all know I like the perks and I like the early bird deals and all that stuff. So, all right.
Yeah, and it's different. And the lifetime, and there's a lot of people that took advantage of. I mean, I got over 40 lifers already.
Nice.
Because they don't because they see what's going on. They're watching the videos and they're paying attention. They're sitting waiting updates and they see what's going to come down the pipeline. So they're making sure that they're set. And a lot of those lifetimers, a lot of that, now it's not going to happen here, but a lot of the lifetimers that came in with the life on my side, I donated. I matched those because I had a thing going on a few months back before it closed out on June 3rd, where I was donating my own personal shares out of my stack. I was matching anybody that came in with the lifetime. I was matching it with each child. So that's how we got the children involved, the parents being the trustee and whatnot, and overseeing that, so the kids, as they're growing up, they can visually see their wealth growing in front of them through their own, share account, stock account. So I thought that was important and stuff. So
nice. Anonymous says, where are you buying property? Which geographies are you targeting? And where have you already bought?
No, we're not buying now. We're focusing on what I said earlier. We're focusing on the work. I did buy a few single families, and they're gone to raise a little extra capital that we turned and flipped and whatnot. So no, we're not purchasing anything now. We're raising capital to focus on the work. Okay, this is the work. Let me break down the work for you. The work is we got the company prep. We have 1.4 billion, 1.5 billion shares authorized. 100 million shares of that is preferred stock, which is not a part of the offering. So that means there's 1.4 billion shares that are authorized right now. So there's a cost to register those shares. So we're building to register those shares. There's a cost to list the application process. There's a cost to do that. There's a cost to also there's some other criteria that we have to meet as well before the application process starts and stuff like that. We got to have all those tier systems. Each tier system has a certain amount of qualification that we have to have. So we have to meet that. So that's what I mean about putting in the work. We have to get that stuff because the registration is real important, because that is going to give us access to liquidity, because there's a process. When you have a stock, the stock has to get what they call a CUSIP number. That CUSIP number is the identifier. You need that to list, because before, when we didn't know what we're doing, we're signing our name on stuff, giving away our property, they were stealing it. See, this is the process. This is how we protect our stock. We need to have a CUSIP number. All publicly traded companies have a CUSIP number. We have to deal with that, get that listed so we're able to deposit that and get them registered and deposited, so that way we can deposit them into a financial institution. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to break this down, but I want y'all to see that. Now, remember, there's two types of financial institutions. There's a financial institution that deals with Federal Reserve notes, but there's also a financial institution that deposits securities. No one knows that until now. I've been telling folks this. So now, before you can deposit that security into this financial institution, it has to get a CUSIP number. The company that owns, the organization that owns CUSIP is the ABA, which is the American Banking Association. They own CUSIP. The same ABA number that's on your routing checks that you have, you know how you got a routing number? That's an ABA number. So there you go. So now, having a CUSIP number being identified on your security makes that a bank and a financial instrument. Come on, y'all. We can create our own stuff. This is the power right here. You see, so now that gets deposited into this financial institution called Seeding Company, which is owned by the DTC. I got a masterclass on this. Break all this down. Got all the contacts. You're gonna see everything that I'm doing. Everything is in these videos. Be able to walk you through from the inception of this company all the way to we're publicly trading. You're gonna have those materials. You're gonna have them tools. You're gonna see them right there. You're gonna watch as we're doing this, because again, you're gonna duplicate this. So now, once you deposit the securities into Seeding Company, which is the financial institution, it's the same way when you deposit a check into the bank. They become the trustee, and now you become the beneficial owner use of that security. That's why you're able to deposit those into a brokerage firm. You can use them as leverage, as an asset. You don't need to convert them into cash, because that's when the tax liability hits. Keep them in the asset and use them as leverage to get where you need to get. So once we get to where we get to Wall Street, that's when we go and buy the real estate. Because look, we don't have to, that's why I don't talk about a bank. Because once we're public, we have the securities, their liquidity, we're able to go purchase whatever we want, because we become the bank. We're the company. We write the checks, not the bank.
I love this, because it's forcing us to learn something different, right? Because our minds, like Anonymous, my first thought when I saw the project too was, oh, I wonder where they're buying, where the property's at, right? because we see the property
Yes.
as the big deal,
Mhm.
right? What you just broke down, brother, was that the property is not the big deal.
Nope.
Whoa.
Nope. The asset is.
The asset is, and the
stock,
asset is the stock in the company.
There you go. Now, guess who else? No, now, remember when I spoke about the bank earlier? Guess who else is when you're able to deposit, before you're able to deposit your securities at the DTC, you have to be sponsored by a market maker, which is nothing but a fancy name for a broker dealer. That broker dealer sponsors you, and then you become what they call a limited participant at the DTC. Once you go public and become a publicly traded company, then you can apply to be a full participant. Guess who else is a participant at the DTC that no one knows? The banks, all the banks. That's where they take your promissory notes that they deposit without your knowledge, securitize them, and deposit them into the DTC and sell them on Wall Street. That's where your securities are. That's where your promissory notes are. You see what I mean? And you funded the whole thing. I walk you through that exact same process. Remember, I used to battle the banks back and forth in court, subpoenaing all of their records, their accounting. See, I know GAAP. I know the process. I know how they do off-book financing. I know their whole breakdown. You see what I mean? So now I said, instead of fighting them, well, we just duplicate and do exactly what they're doing, and then we'll meet them up. That's the reason why when we get ready to buy real estate, they're going to work with us. That's why I was talking about the inflation rate, below inflation, the good debt and the bad debt. Because when you're up there, you're dealing with the bank. So the bank is going to exchange their stock, their Federal Reserve notes, their credits for your asset. You see what I'm saying? In exchange that you use for collateral, and then they can't steal it, because because your collateral is registered. Your promissory notes are not. So you have to learn. You see what I mean? So this is you're contracting and doing business in a different manner than you normally would do, because this is how they know that you're the creditor when you're actually doing stuff. Your signature activates all contracts. You see what I mean? You're the creditor. They're borrowing from you. Anytime that you're depositing into the bank, you are giving a loan. But if you're not understanding that, that's where the theft takes place. That's why that's why I don't focus on, if you're listening to me, listen to my videos, you see I don't talk hype. I'm all professional. I'm all professional. I'm a professor. I'm sorry. I'm all professor all the time, breaking this stuff down to the science, because you have to understand it. This is your battle gear. This is what you need to battle in battle in commerce with. If you don't, they're going to keep you in a debtor status, and you're going to keep being enslaved through the financial tool that they're providing to you, that you think that you're getting something, but you're actually not. You see? I'm giving you an alternative. I'm not just telling you they're doing it. I'm showing you that they're doing it. And then I'm showing you how they're doing it. Then I'm showing you how we can do the exact same thing through our entity. So this is a good experience. This is a good experience for everyone to go through. So that's why we'll focus on the real estate later, because the real estate will maintain the value. Remember, we'll create the paper. Remember this, create the paper wealth first, then go buy the assets to maintain and sustain that wealth.
That's it. All right.
See,
okay.
For the security. So
let's get through some of these questions, because we're gonna be here all night. This is good stuff here. Okay. Anonymous has a couple of questions. It might not be the same Anonymous, but Anonymous says, are you subject? So I'm gonna ask two questions at the same time. Are you being taxed by the government like REITs? And then, are you subject to the same congressional law as REITs, where you have to pay out 90% of all income to investors? So we'll tackle those two questions. Okay.
No, we're not a REIT. We're not subject. Remember, REITs are under the rules of the IRS. We're a cooperative, so we don't comply. We don't comply with those. We don't have to, because we're not that entity. We're not. REITs have to declare that they're a REIT with the IRS, and then they have to meet a certain standard with the IRS since they want to be classified as REITs. You see, We're not the difference between us and REITs don't issue you stock. They don't issue you, excuse me, they don't issue you equity. You have equity. So not only that are you getting 50% of the cash flow in the form of dividends, you also have an equity stake that you have that you can leverage in cash, and that has liquidity that you can leverage all day. So you see what I mean? So not only do you get a monthly passive income from the income, you also have wealth, which is the stock component. Because I had people ask me, said, well, I said, why are you focusing on the dividend when you have
I want say that again, because I want people to understand that, right? So when we hear funds, right? You're getting a percentage of what they've the thing they've invested in, right? You get a
just say 100, just say 100, just say 100. Say they put in $1,000. They got 100,000 shares. We come out at $10 a share. That's $1 million in asset, and they want to hound me about a dividend. You got $1 million in liquidity right here, bro. Why are you freaking worrying about a dividend?
So when you think about REITs and funds, it truly is the dividend, right? The small portion, your small portion of something. What Cannon is talking about here is the company, because when you're in a fund, you don't own the company.
Nope.
What Cannon is talking about is owning of the company.
A part of the company. You own, with the REIT, you own a right to that money. Right. Remember, these are my teachings over here. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the assets. Money is not real. Money is the numerical value that's stored within the instrument. And if you're controlling the instrument, you control the monetary value that is distributed from it. You see what I mean? They got you doing it backwards. They got you worrying about the money, but you ain't controlling the contract. Control the contract. I'm teaching you how to control the contract because I'm giving you the contract, which is a shareholder agreement. You see? Which has the monetary value stored in it, and you have access and control of that based on the numbers presented, based on what we purchase. It's a whole different focus.
Got it. Okay, a couple of questions. The target date for the IPO, and you already told us about the company that you've hired to secure and vet the real estate properties once you get to that step. If you can say their name again, but what's the target date for the IPO?
Is it Marcus Millichap?
Yes.
Let me see, let me make sure I got that. Yeah, Marcus and Millichap, IPA, Institutional Property Investors. Now, let's add to that real quick, just real quick.
Okay.
Now, you come in as a non-accredited investor, right? We go public. I just convert you into now an accredited investor. And then you as a membership base for the co-op creates the co-op becomes an institutional investor. As an institutional investor, we have access to paper, bank paper, government paper, stuff that you don't have access, that you don't even know that they're trading, student loans, child support orders, court orders. All this is traded on Wall Street, y'all. We have to start thinking.
They turn everything into a note, all of it.
Everything is security. Everything is a security. So now we can start buying that paper and keeping it as an asset. Mortgage-backed security. Those are all traded on Wall Street. You see, while people are going to the courthouse trying to steal the people's property through the theft from the bank when they're stealing the property, knowing that they monetize their instrument on the other side without their knowledge. You see, we can go and start buying bank paper and then recontract with our people. And that's how we can access other real estate on that paper level. You see, we got to start getting out of this dog and pony show stuff, man, and start getting into the real finance. They ain't gonna teach you this shit on Wall Street, on New York Stock Exchange, on CNBC. You don't hear them talking about, that's all a dog and pony show. This is the real stuff that goes on. This is the real stuff that we have access to, and this is the real access. This is the real thing that we can do to change a lot of things. So,
target date for the IPO.
No target date.
Okay, because it's a process. So it's a process. You just went through the steps. The Reg CF is what's happening now. Then you go to Reg A. Then I think you got to go Reg D, right?
No. Reg D is first.
Okay.
Reg D is Reg D is just accredited investors only. Then it's Reg CF. Then it's Reg. We're in Reg CF, getting ready to transition over into the Reg A. And the reason why I said I can't tell you that date because I don't know that date because it's dependent on the people. You understand what I mean? When people start realizing what I'm doing and what other people are not doing, and they start comparing and start separating themselves, $5 million can be in my account tomorrow. If $5 million in my account tomorrow, guess what? Guess what we finna do?
Guess what? Where we going? Right.
Yeah, guess where we finna go?
Right.
You see what I mean? So it's all about, like I said, the people that I have in now, that's the process. They're learning, they're doing whatever they're doing. They put their money into, and they're invested in, they're vesting their time, they're doing everything that they can to learn this because they know that they have to duplicate that. So it depends upon y'all, the people. This is a cooperative. It's dependent. The success of the cooperative is dependent upon y'all, and it's dependent on how fast anything goes, because once the money's in, I can move at the pace that I need the pace that I can move at. You see what I mean? And I just tell everybody, make sure y'all study. I'm finna run up over here because everything that I'm doing is already on video. So you know, oh, he must be over here. He must be at this state because he told us about this. He's right here. You see, you guys got a manual, but it's videos. You see what I mean? And you can research, follow up. You see what I'm saying? And connect with my citations, the work. You see what I'm saying? All the relationships that are being established as we're going along. Look up the DTC. Look up look up the CUSA Bureau. Look up all this. Look at the identifiers. They're all encoded. They're encoded with your company name. They're encoded with the type of security it is. And it's always that last number is encoded as a check number, just like they do with your checking account. Same thing, man. And it's powerful. It's powerful, y'all. It's powerful.
There's a couple of questions here, Tannen, asking about how you're different from Fundrise. And Fundrise is an investment portal, FINRA approved equity crowdfunding investment portal that has real estate deals. And so the anonymous has two questions here. How is this different from a company like Fundrise, except that Fundrise has not IPO'd? And then it says, is it fair to compare this with Fundrise with an educational component as an ownership stake in the actual business as well as the real estate? And so I don't know if you want to take this, but I know from a Fundrise standpoint, Fundrise is the portal that has these deals, right? Very much like WeFunder is the portal that has the deals.
Exactly, they have the deals.
Get a percentage in the deals, but the stock is not in Fundrise. So that's one obvious difference.
Yeah, exactly. And their investments are all real estate funds. If you read the security filings, which people probably don't read, you got to read them. Remember, before there was Reg CF, there were S1s. And I used to study thousands of the S1s because I was learning how to prepare them and utilize them, not knowing that the Reg CF was coming. So if you read their security filings, which they all have, you'll see that they're funds. And sometimes there'll be a numerical values, Roman numeral variable, there'll be fund 1, fund 2, fund 3, the same methodology that the banks use when they monetize your promissory notes and your mortgages and stuff and sell them on Wall Street. They put them in trust. They'll have trust 1, trust 2. It's a pattern that they utilize. So researching and being able to recognize what something is and what it's not. Anytime that you're being offered a percentage, that's not equity. That's just a right to get something if it's available. Meaning, if they don't make a profit, you don't get it. You see? With the equity, you got a piece of that. You got a piece of the 9.3 pre-money valuation. You see what I mean? Or you see what I'm saying? You got a piece of the company. They can't, that can never be taken away from you. So if you make an investment of $1,000 and they're promising you 10%, but they don't come through with that 10%, or they losing money, you lose that 10. You not only lose that 10%, but you're going to start losing off, chipping away at that principal as well. You see what I mean? You can't chip away that equity. You might can chip away the value of that equity, but you'll never be able to chip away the equity. And what makes us different is when we purchase real estate, your stock value is tied to that real estate. That real estate ain't gonna lose value. It's not gonna lose cash flow. You see what I mean? So just say everything goes wrong, right? You only put in X amount of dollars, but we don't went public and your stock is worth 100 or 10,000 times more than what you actually put in. You see, if we have to sell that real estate, you already up. You already got your base back. Everything that you get is all cherry on the top. You see? So you have to, that's what I mean about when you're calculating ROI, make sure that you're using the right formula, because there are two ROI formulas. And that just the other ROI formula that they don't teach you about is that you have to add in that stock component and that value and the appreciation, the stock appreciation value of that stock along with your investment to divide what your actual ROI is, because you have equity in it.
Got it. There are 3 questions here about how to get a hold of you and your training classes. So tell us, how do we what's the website where we can get access to these master classes? And then if people have questions, I know Brian had a question here about needing your help setting up one of his businesses this way. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, I told you the site is on the remodel. It's not going to relaunch until September 1st, because that's where all of the videos are going to be. But if you want to look at videos now that I have them all for free for right now, you can go to YouTube. Just type in Consumer Cooperative Group or Co-oponomics, and the YouTube site will come in. Just follow the site. You'll be able to watch some of the videos that are there. And then September 1st, what's the regular website for the regular site? Is ccg.coop.
So ccg.coop. CCG.
Co-op, exactly. So when you see the domain co-op, you know no one else got that. Only cooperatives have that. No other companies have that. So that's how you know we're part of a international chain of cooperatives that are for the community. You'll see marquees on there. You'll know that we're part of a network. And that's who we build. We are to build up our people, build up other co-ops. So that way, like I said, we can patronize with one another and circulate our funds within our own financial community ecosystem, where we can continue to grow. And as long as we keep our funds circulating within our system like that, the ecosystem that I created through this website, as long as we continue to do that, we can build, and continue to build.
Very good. And on the website, when it comes up, I imagine there's going to be a contact us section where Brian can get a hold of you to get some questions answered.
Yeah. He'll be able to contact. Yeah, you can contact me at support. You can contact me at support@ccg.coop. You can do that now. So okay. That way you don't have to. You don't have to wait till the site comes up. But keep that information with that site. I just implore you, everybody, to get involved with the. We got some sites. We got some. I don't know if I should tell y'all this, but no, I'll wait. I'll surprise y'all later.
Okay, surprise us.
This is because but I want everybody to get involved before real quick, because this is not going to be available. We possibly will be moving into a round 3, and it's going to be at a higher price. You see what I'm saying? Less shares, the whole thing. In the videos, like I said, in the videos I talked about Facebook and how Facebook, if they would have gave us shares, You know what I mean? At X amount of dollars, we would all be wealthy right now, you know, but like I said, guess who got to, you know, to benefit from that? Investment bankers and whatnot and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
This is our opportunity to get in at the ground floor, secure our position and start doing that, and also get that education about business capitalization, how to do, how to get your financials together, and do it the right way. Because like I said, your first bookkeeping entry should always be you issuing, the company issuing stock to you in exchange for your intellectual property. That should always be the first bookkeeping entry. If that's not on your bookkeeping, if that's not the first entry, your business is not it's not correct. It's not. You got to make sure that you don't own that company. You don't own that company unless you have issued, that's the company, your company that you created has issued stock to yourself. Read my paperwork. Go on TrueCrowd, download my stuff. My business plan is there. The security agreement there. Download that. You'll see, and even go to the SEC site. Let me see. Can you put that? Put the security filings where they can go to.
Oh yeah. So in TrueCrowd, up at the top, there's a document section. That's where the SEC. You want to actually take them to the SEC to see your Edgar form.
No, I got them. Yeah, I got them right here. All my filings, even my Reg A, because I want you guys to look at my last Reg A filing, which would be it would be 1- or let me you want to pull it? Can I put something in the
Absolutely. Put it in the chat. Make sure you put it to everyone.
And the panelists. Oh, let me go to everybody. Hold on. Everyone. Let me see. There you go. Right there. That's all my filings right there. You want to pull that up real quick? You want to pull that real quick?
Absolutely. Let's
Because I know that brother was asking me about, he wants me to help him with his company. I'm gonna give you some homework, bro. So that way you can look.
Okay.
I probably need to share my screen, but that's fine. Okay, you see the first 1A/A.
The one filed on August 1st.
12/16.
That's the most recent one.
CA. No, go down.
The first A. There you go. The first 1A right here.
No, go up to the last 1AA. That's the amendment right there. Go to the filing. No, go to the filing box. Slide over just a little bit. See where it says filing? Click that. There you go, right there, bro. That's everything that you need to check out right there. You see where the part 2. Look at my audited financials offering circular with the audited fund. No, don't click it yet. There's the articles of incorporation, the amended articles, the bylaws, subscription agreement, stock purchase agreement, amended, assignment of the IP, the assignment of the technology, the escrow agreement, consent to accounting, and opinion of counsel. You see that assignment of IP? That is the contract between you and your company that you exchange for the stock. See, that has to be all disclosed so you can see. You see what I'm doing, so you can emulate that. And I'll walk you through that, but I wanted to show you this so you can get your eyes on it, so you can go ahead and download it, look at it, ask those questions. When you get ready to talk to me, ask those questions, and I'm able to help see where you're at with it, understanding on what it is. But it's all there. Anything that we do on that, see, all this is not even, you can't even do this on Reg CF. You see, you have to do that on the Reg A. That's because we're getting ready to go public. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we need all this information. You see what I mean? This is full disclosure for you.
This is full disclosure for sure. And this is put your money where your mouth is. We are not only going to IPO, we already got paperwork for the next phase and we ain't there yet.
Exactly.
Like wow.
Exactly.
We see you, Mr. Andrews. We see you. Okay. I'm a couple some questions.
I see we got 16 more. Keep going.
We're gonna keep going. So Vivian and Dane, I'm gonna tackle their questions together. You mentioned that you had the business has purchased a couple of properties just to kind of get some cash flowing in. But then Dana's question is, are the properties purchased outright or financed? And then she says, if financed, does the rent cover or exceed the principal, interest, tax, and home owner's insurance and all of that stuff? So I think the core question though is, will the company, when we start acquiring at the asset, will the company be buying outright or financing? And then if you want to talk a little bit to Vivian's question about what does the company already own? Because I know you mentioned earlier, there's a couple of things you own just to kind of pay some bills. I thought you said that earlier.
Well, no, we just read, no, we don't own anything now other than the intellectual property. That's the way, that's the way it's supposed to. And that's for, and the purpose of that is for cost purposes. So if the irresponsible thing would have been if I bought millions and millions of dollars of real estate already, which I have the ability to do that. But if I did that, right, then I'm increasing my accounting cost. You see, you're talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in accounting. And see, and then that comes out of your investments. You see what I mean? So keeping the operations at minimum cost before we get to where we need to get is the more responsible thing to do. You see, because my audited finances then cost me what, $3,000. You see what I mean? And my financials, and remember, you have a special type. There's a special type of accounting that needs to be done, and it has to be in relation to GAAP. So you have your regular account, you have your regular accounting, and then you have what they have, what you call a PCAOB auditor. And those are the type of audit that I have right now, which costs me that. That could have cost me 40, 50, 60,000. You see what I mean? And that wouldn't have been smart to do. You see what I mean? So now you have to go public, you have to have a PCAOB auditor. Your financials have to be audited by that type of auditor with that license. If not, you're not going anywhere. You see what I mean? So pay attention to that. Pay attention to when you're researching company that you're investing in, see if they're offering you equity. See if they're offering you voting rights. If they're not offering you equity or voting rights, and you see, you're just there temporarily. They're not taking you for the ride. They're going to be taking investment bankers, and they're going to be taking venture capitalists with them. You see what I mean? That's the key indicator. And then look at the accounting. Look at what type of accounting they have, what type of auditor it is. All auditors that are PCAOB will be stated on their letterhead. That's how you know they're going to eventually go public. Even though they don't say it, that right there is the first indicator of that they are. You see what I mean? Because why pay for something that you're not going to use?
Right.
So no assets other than the intellectual property, which also is a tax advantage because I've been funding the business to over 400,000, and that can be proved. Just look at my financials. You can tell what money I put in. My financials are there. They show you. So that's not a makeup thing. So doing that, that means the company has a write-off because it's in the negative. You see what I mean? So any profits that we may gain will benefit you later when we start buying the assets because we have something to hedge against the capital gains. You see what I mean? Or the profit from the thing. So think about that. That's the difference between a company and individual. They tax us differently. Companies, they tax based on their net. They tax you individually on your gross. That's the difference. So so always remember that. So they can't tax nothing when you're in the negative. You don't owe nothing when you're in the negative. So that's why we don't owe no taxes. And that's been like I said, that's by design over the last 4 years. What was the other question? The second one?
I think you answered the second one.
Okay, what was okay, because one was asking we had assets, and then the other one is
the other one was will it be financed, or when you do buy it, will it be financed or bought outright?
Depends. It depends. It depends. If we buy it, like I said, when we buy it, once we go public and we write it, no, we're definitely going to finance it. We do what we call a 40. We do what they call a 40-60 ratio. So that means we never carry any more than 40% of the debt, and that debt on the property. And at the same time, that's going to create we'll have positive cash flow on that, and we'll have 60% equity in that property. and then we'll have a good interest rate because, of course, we're dealing with the bank directly. We're not dealing with subprime rates. You see what I mean? They're not going to give. That's like, just think about Apple, right? If Apple goes to the bank, I don't want anybody to think because just because you think Apple got all this money that they don't use the bank. No, you're fooling yourself. They use the bank. Okay, they use the bank when they need money. They don't need the money. They're just like, I'm not finna convert my stock over into cash to take a tax hit. That's why they borrow the money, y'all. You see what I mean?
Right.
That's why they borrow the money. They borrow, and then they get the bank. Number one rule is don't loan money to people who need it. That's the rule. That's the rule. If they don't need the money, they're gonna give Apple the bank. They don't care if they don't make no money. They're doing business. They're thinking about long term, so you'll get that best rate. And plus, Apple, like I said, is at the DTC, is a participant at the DTC along with the banks. So they have that relationship anyway because they're part of the same club, which we're going to be a part of that same club. You see what I mean? So that would be different. So yeah, so we'll always keep a 40/60 on there just for tax write-off, and then whatever profit is, we'll know what the profit is. See, we'll know all this. When we get ready to buy the properties will be listed on the website. You will see what we're going to acquire. You'll be seeing the type of properties. We'll be listing the type of properties that we're going to acquire, A, B, C, D, and how we'll upscale, say C to D or C to B, up to, whatever. You'll see the type, and then when we actually do it, you'll see what we're doing, what we're going to be purchasing. Now you'll have that inside stuff that you won't be able to share, but it's just for us. You'll see what we're going to acquire, and plus, I have to file a security filing anyway when we do acquisitions anyway, so you'll know then too, but you'll know it beforehand, so you'll always know what we're going to buy.
Very good. Are you planning to create a board of advisors or C-suite to improve transparency? So you said you hired an interim COO, and you said CTO.
CTO and a COO, yeah.
So CTO and COO. And so you said you're trying them on an interim basis now. So Anonymous is saying, what's your plan for building out your C-suite long-term?
It's really y'all. Yeah, it's y'all. I mean, I know people, the traditional sense of, a board of directors. Yeah, we have a board of directors and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's y'all. It's making sure that y'all know what's going on because it's y'all livelihood. You're going to be duplicating this process, so you need to be seeing what's going on. You know what I mean? So that way you can duplicate it within your community, because we need to have a network of what I'm doing. There needs to be a network in Chicago, a network in New York, network in Florida, Georgia, California, everywhere, all of that type of network the same. So that way we can potentially have multiple companies doing the exact same thing. But the overall thing, like I was saying earlier, is real estate is the first leg. Okay. Our next public company that we will be spinning off will be a bank. That will be the next leg. And then the next leg after that will be a utility company, which would be solar, wind farm, to start putting in the infrastructure for our municipality for the land that we're getting ready to purchase. So that is the future plan. The future plan is our own city. That is the future plan. Our own jobs, our own ecosystem, our own all different industries, major industries that are being controlled right now by other parties that we have no control over. We will be creating those particular type of industries, spinning them off and turning them public, making them publicly traded. Now the beauty about being publicly traded, we only have to do this one time. Once we're publicly traded, we can create a subsidiary and spin it off into another entity without having to go through no process. And so guess who automatically becomes the shareholders? You see what I mean? It's a different world. It's a different world when you get up here and we're doing this and stuff like that. Spin it off into another public company, new stock, blah, 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 this and that, new set of wealth for you. You see what I mean? So you won't be worrying about what I'm doing, because you're going to be worrying about mainly say, oh, but dang, let me know what he's doing so I know how to do it over here with mine. You see, because you're not counting my money, I'm not counting your money. There's nothing. We counting our money. That's really what's happening as a group, because our money is the whole pie. You see what I mean? And it's all divided up based on the share and the interest and the securities that you have placed in there. You know, so
Very
you have
good.
to think of it that way. Yeah.
Can we pass our lifetime membership on to family members?
No, that deal passed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that deal passed. That was when we were, that's passed. I'm sorry. Yeah, but you can still, like I said, you can still do some, you can still get them involved, you know, by sponsoring them an account. So like I told another lady, I said, she has, I think, a brother in jail. I said, why don't you sponsor him an account, get his membership in there, so that way when he gets out, he got something. You see what I'm saying? And you can send him something while he's in there, while we're doing this process. You see what I mean? Send him the material, let him read a little bit, just send him a little something, so get him ready. You know what I mean? So just sponsor your kids, get them set. It don't cost them nothing now. $100 get them 10,000 shares. That's all you good. We waste $100 all the time.
What's the membership fee outside of investment? So we're not talking about when it's included in investment. So we're talking about standalone. What's membership fee?
$12 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that. That's the reason why I said sponsor them. Yeah, sponsor them. And then now we move to the next stage. The membership changes. So when we get into,
I want to make sure you said $12 a month, right?
$12 a month. Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna do that. They get
access.
We're gonna do that math real quick. 12 times 12, right?
Well, it's 120. If you do it, if you do it for the whole year,
you do for the whole year, it's discounted at 120.
It's 120. Yeah, it's 120.
Okay.
And that comes with 1,200 vested shares of stock. That's how you build. Yeah, that's how you build up that way.
Okay, very good.
you
Michael said, what's your projected 3 to 5 year growth post IPO?
Ooh. Because the IPO, we're planning on raising we're planning on raising $1 billion. So I would say it's gonna be a snowball effect. Let's see, since we're capping the amount of shares that we're making available to the public in the public float, which would be 200 million. So we're not doing any more than 200 million in the public float. And the reason for that is to be sure that control issues are never in jeopardy at all by anybody outside of the membership base. So that's the reason why we'll keep it at 2 million. But one of the rules that allowed us to do, I don't know if you guys are familiar with direct listing. Ben & Jerry's was the first entity that actually did it. And the reason why I'm saying this, so I can explain and answer the question. The direct listing is when early shareholders come in, right? And when you're getting ready to go public, you're going public by what they call direct listing. That means you're going doing the application straight to New York Stock Exchange. You're just filing the application to get listed. And then the shares from the early investors get to be put on the public float, and that money goes directly to them. Doesn't come to the company. That's what a direct listing is. That's how you take care of your investors. Now, a new law came in conjunction with that. The company now can raise capital at the same time at the direct listing. So we'll be putting in, we would put out about 100 million shares. And we're figuring to come out maybe at minimum of $10 a share, just saying $10 a share, that's just the prospectus. It's low because it's we're using real estate. So if you look at the real estate and you look at the average, what a REIT is and what they're putting out there, that's real low, conservative number per share, which should probably be higher. Purchasing 1 billion shares, utilizing 40% of that capital to get 60% of it to use it as debt. As equity to put down on the property, and only carrying about 40% debt will still leave us with 400 million in cash. 3 to 5 years, I would say we would be able to purchase probably anywhere between 3 to 5 years. We should be a 10 plus, maybe $20 billion company by that time, in about a 3 to 5 at the pace that we're going, because we'll be spinning off. You see, like I said, we'll be spinning off banks, and then people will start recognizing what's going on. People start getting involved. So it's going to change the dynamic of a lot of things. So yeah, I figure about between a 10, 15, maybe $20 billion within 3 to 5 years. That would be our net worth at minimum.
Okay, very good.
Now, I know you're gonna want numbers, and I'll give you
But you did good. That was a good breakdown. That was high level. That was good. So I'm gonna combine two questions here. So Anonymous says, so can you provide your timeline of activity? But then Kevin asks, what happens if the 5 million target is not met by the deadline, which is 15 days from now? So if you can just take us from what happens when this Reg CF campaign closes, and kind of what's the breakdown of the next steps?
Oh, we just move into the next seed round and raise the value. Like I've always explained to everyone else, and this is one of the questions that they always ask me: why are you waiting on us? Why can't you do it? Blah blah blah, this and that. I said, well, yeah, I can do it. I mean, you see, I have the intellect to do it, but at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about my community. You see what I mean? And it's about me explaining and educating them. Now, as what happens is, yeah, there's always a B plan. Of course, there's a B plan, right? The B plan is, remember, there's three entities of liquidity. You have the New York Stock Exchange American, you have NASDAQ, and then you have the OTC. OTC is the over the counter, what everybody calls the penny stock, but they're not penny stock like you think they are, because there's a lot of big companies that are publicly traded on the OTC market, and people don't understand that, like Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Hershey, no one knows about this. A lot of car companies, people don't know that they're trading on the OTC market at that. So their listing requirements are minimal. So if we don't reach the target that we reach, that the 5 million, then like I said, we'll go into a next round. But the logo, the backup is always to get listed on the OTC, which the listing requirements are minimum, costs about $20,000 application fee. I still have to pay to register the stock, which like is 100 and some thousand, and then we list and trade. We set a price, set a market maker, set a price, go the same process as we were doing to the New York Stock Exchange. It only requires 50 shareholders. I have 420. So we've already met that goal. You know what I mean? Because on the New York Stock Exchange, it takes 400, you need 400. NASDAQ, you need a minimum of 300 shareholders. See, we're already at our 50 shareholders. So we are already on a path to liquidity anyway. Okay. And we had to get to the big boys. That's the international level. You see what I mean? We had to get on that international level to where it is no question the power that we possess. You see what I mean? Same power we possess, but it's a little bit, and our goals will be a little, our purchasing, our acquisitions will be, less, probably at 50 million, 30 million, 30, 50 million, whatever and stuff, not in the hundreds and billions of dollars of purchases. We have to work our way up there from that liquidity. But like I said, it's still feasible.
Good. Jesse says Congress passed a bill this week to tax corporations at 15% minimum tax. Does this apply to co-ops?
Yeah, because we elected to be taxed as a corporation with the IRS, so that would fall for us. Even though we are a cooperative, we elected. We have a choice to elect how we want to be taxed. So we did it as a corporation.
Okay. And Deshaun says, how will the stock be tiered?
What do you mean tiered?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Deshaun, what you mean either. Deshaun, if you're still here with us, if you could tell us, what do you mean by tiered? And I'll go to the next question.
If I think that's what what he's saying is that, no, it's not tiered. It's what it is. It's Class A common stock. That's what it is. That tier system starts getting into, I think I know what he's talking about. Is it going to be a Class A, Class B, blah, blah, blah? No, you got top grade stock. Class A is top A stock. You don't get no higher than that. You see what I mean? So when you see people come in with class B stock, class C, blah, 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 somebody's holding that class A. That class A is the one with the voting rights. So you got top tier. There's only one tier.
So it's common stock.
It's common stock. Yep. Class A common stock. That's the actual name. And we have preferred stock, but we don't issue preferred. We only issue that to accredited investors or later on, or venture capitalists and stuff like that, because we want to keep them out of the voting round.
Got you. Jessica says, what's your plan to protect our municipalities? Historically, when we create cities, others come in to destroy it. And she cites Rosewood, Tulsa, Wilmington, North Carolina as examples of that.
Well, if you think about it, those cities were not cities. They weren't municipalities. They were districts. It's a difference. They were already up under someone. You see, that's the big difference. I'm glad she asked that question. That was an excellent question. Yeah, they were districts. They were under the rule of another city of Oklahoma. You remember? So once there is a process when you become a municipality. There's two processes. One, you can do it from scratch, where you incorporate it as a corporation. So you don't just incorporate it as a business, you can incorporate as a entity, because you want to run your city or your municipality as a business. The other way that we can get our municipalities are through the ones that have gone bankrupt in each and every city, and they are looking to be bought. You see what I mean? And once we do that, what happens is we become the controlling factor of that. We create our own city council, depending on there's two type of mayoral systems. There is a strong mayor and a weak mayor system. Of course, we're going to create a strong mayor system to where the mayor makes all the decisions and is not subjugated to a 12-minute council, where they're holding up stuff. So we're gonna try to eliminate all of that. We're gonna try our best to make sure when we structure that, we eliminate all that BS and get to a sound system. Now we can create our own law enforcement. Of course, we won't utilize the law enforcement system that is in there. We're gonna create our own, with our own rules, with our own whatever cooperative rules and stuff like that. If you don't live in the municipality, you cannot work there. You cannot patrol. You can't police. You can't even do anything unless you're in there. Everybody has to know what one another. No one just can't come and live there. So it's like, so that's one of the ways, one of several ways that we'll be able to protect that by incorporating. Once we become a corporation, a municipality, what happens is we have so much power. We can use the same techniques that I've just been explaining to you about stock. With municipalities, you can issue municipal bonds and sell those on Wall Street to raise money to build your corporate, to bring your city, your municipality's infrastructure. You see what I'm saying?
Like
Same way.
The gems keep dropping. Like he like, bah, 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 bah. Like I feel like I'm at a paintball fight. Like they just keep hitting you with it.
That's how. This ain't no game. This is It's the same thing. It's rinse and repeat, y'all. It's the same thing. Watch what they're doing. They're doing the exact same thing. If you pay attention, you notice that I live in Texas, so I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You see, Dallas police don't go into Fort Worth police jurisdiction. You see what I'm saying? That municipality creates a separate jurisdiction. That's what separates us from their police. Their destructive and corrupt ways, that separates us from. See, but before you do that, and I always say this, I don't do that boycott stuff. I don't do that marching. I don't do all of that, right? And I don't tell the people to boycott, right? You know why I don't tell people to boycott? Because if I don't have anything to replace what I'm asking them to boycott, then it's not worth doing it. You have to build an alternative to where if they do that, they have a place to spend their dollars, a place to take care of their family and still feed themselves and sustain the lifestyle that they have. So that means creating a municipality means putting in services, products, hospitals, food places, restaurants, whatever, what do you call it? The growing our own food and stuff like that, our greenhouses, everything, our solar, our power, utility company. That's why I said the utility company comes next, because we have to build the blueprint first on how all these cities are going to be duplicated with that same process and all those products and services to sustain the people as we bring them into these new jurisdictions that we control, we own and control. And you see, and what destroys a city? Debt. If you pay attention to what I'm doing now, we'll be able to control the debt, because the city will be owned by us through owning the municipal bonds. You see, you don't think we finna sell the municipal bonds to these fools over here so they can come in and try to foreclose and come in and get our city. No, we're gonna sell the municipal bonds to us, to our people. Y'all gonna be the creditor. Come on, y'all.
That's it, Denise. Denise said it, creating the foundation first. You got it, Denise. If we didn't learn anything else tonight, we learned creating the foundation first. Wow.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Because if not, because you've heard the term piercing the corporate veil, right? That's that. If you leave an opening, they will puncture. So that's the reason why that's how we're going to protect it. We're going to protect ourselves, not just not like physically, we're protecting ourselves. We're also protecting ourselves first, financially first, coming in, putting up the barriers and creating our products and our services that's going to use to sustain our life. Our life we have to protect our life, our sustainability of our life and our way of our way of life. And then we come in, like I said, put in our security, our force, or whatever enforcement that we're going to put in place. I mean, because I was thinking about deputizing, making sure everybody becomes a peace officer. So everybody's a peace officer, and no one is over anybody over there. You see what I mean? We're all protecting one another. So, and then the other thing is bringing industry in there. As we're creating industry, we start bringing our industry, our businesses within our city. You see, remember, when you create the city, look what a city does. You have the county land is there, right? There's a small tax on that, right? So when a city comes in and incorporates, what did the city do? Then it becomes city taxes, right? Because they're trying to see, we ain't finna do all that, because I already know how to lock in the land patents, how to lock in our land, lock it in to where it can't be stolen, because we're one level above the county, y'all. 2 levels above the state, you see, and then we're 1 level from being a county because we have the land mass. See, I studied this to make sure, especially here in Texas, you got to have a certain square miles to become classified as a county. That's the only way that you can break off and be a county. You see what I'm saying? So that would be the ultimate goal next, is to be at the county level, to where we cut off all ties with the outside county and create our own services, our own infrastructure, to where we can operate as our own government. Now, when you talk about voting, right, guess what? We become our own political district. Now we can start making some damn changes with the state. Now we have access for money from government when they be issuing emergency funds. Guess who gets allocated those piece of those funds? We do, because we're a municipality. Right. Just like that. Think about this. Why do you say, well, they getting money for schools? We get money for all of that. And we can structure our schools the way that we want to, because we're controlling those dollars. We don't need it, but it's there if we want to. You see what I mean? It's there. Right. So
all right, yeah, we got 4 more questions. 4 more questions. Let's see what they are. Anonymous says, is this type of investing the same as a syndication?
No. Nope. We're not a real estate fund. We're not a REIT, and we're not a syndication. Syndication requires a sponsor. When there's no sponsors here, it's you buying, you investing, you get in exchange for equity stock, and we register that stock, we take it public. It's just flat out that simple. You see how all those other things are just complicated things that they're making you go through loops and hoops and red tape and stuff, and it's just like damn, it's like, man, you never get anywhere because everybody got their hands in there. This is straight flat out system. Look, $100, you get stock. Money come in, you get stock, equity stock. Boom, we're gonna register it. turn it into liquidity, boom, you can do whatever you need to do. Your success in business is how hard that you decide to make it. You see what I mean? You can take a simple path, or you can take the most difficult path, because there's nothing in the rule books that says the way that they do stuff is the right way to do stuff or the only way to do stuff. Because if it was, then they wouldn't have had to change the laws for us to access y'all through the Jobs Act. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about succession planning. We have a couple of questions about what if something happens to you?
We got insurance. There's insurance policies in place. That's just like anybody, just like anything. There's always contingencies in. There's insurance thing. That's the reason why there's videos. That's the reason why there's information. Why do you think I'm putting the information out? You see what I mean? It'll still keep running when I'm gone.
Who takes the company forward though? Who fulfills the vision? The 31 years, right? That vision. Who fulfills that vision?
Oh, that most likely be my wife. She's been with me. We've been married with 22 years, so yeah, she most likely will keep it over. But she knows what she has to do. She knows that's the reason why we're training folks, putting this information out, putting people in key positions, so that way you know what I know. You see what I mean? So anybody can come in and help and bring everything together. See, it's like you see, I'm not hoarding the information. You see, I'm giving it away freely. You see what I mean? There's a reason for that. You see, so that's important. So yeah, so we try not to think about that. We try not to think about that. We think about just making sure we get the information out, get the blueprint down, get it together, get the relationships down, that the corporate relationships, the cooperative relationships that we have. So that way, making it easier for her also to make sure she can keep moving forward, because the relationships are the most important thing. That's the reason why I delegated some of the authority to like the professionals finding the real estate for us, the broker dealers, the law firm. We got the law firm. Guess what? There ain't nothing gonna happen because the law firm's in place. You see what I mean? So the law firm is gonna keep everything in place anyway. You see what I mean? So they're there for that. So there's contingencies in place, and you have the insurance. I got not a key man, but I have policy on me, so you don't have to worry about all of that. That's another thing we'll be talking about too later on. Policies. Members are going to be getting policies. We're going to be setting up these trusts. We're going to be taking stuff out of your name, making sure that you have everything in an entity. So then that way, that question that you just asked never becomes a determining factor ever again, because everything will be set up in trust. And you'll be sitting back controlling it and making it work the way it needs to work, even if you're there, and even if you're not. So
yeah. Jesse says, will we contribute to gentrification with the properties that we buy, or will we be flippers?
Nope, no flippers. We don't flip. We don't do that game. No. We are going to be contributors to the gentrification. And I'm so glad he asked that real quick. What we're doing is when we buy up complexes, properties, blocks, whether through the bank's paper or whatnot, what we do is when we go into that neighborhood, we get everybody involved in that neighborhood. We create a cooperative ecosystem for that neighborhood. Everybody's involved. Then we inject that capital into it to build it up, and then everybody here gets a piece of stock of that particular neighborhood. So no one gets priced out. You see what I'm saying? And then no one can come in and take anyone out, because they'll have their own 12-panel board there that takes care of everything that needs to be there. So we have to set the company up. We have to set the neighborhood up just like if it's a business, right? We have to think about how it's going to fund, how it's going to fund it, how it's going to maintain it, and whatnot. But everybody will be contributing and maintaining it because they'll have an equity position in the neighborhood. So they can dictate and control the prices, and they're going to price themselves out, right? So that's what we do when we're talking about controlling gentrification. Because I was in Atlanta a month and a half ago, right? And I noticed the Mercedes stadium, right? Everything is all nice over in one spot. And then you spent billions of dollars on this stadium, but then you go around and you look at on the outskirts of a certain part of the neighborhood, and it's run down. I'm like, what is that? You see how the focus is? Their focus is on a nice shiny thing, but they neglect everything around it.
It's like that in so many cities where you see the beautiful stadium, and you better get out of that game, whatever that sporting event is, you better get out of there early, because if you're walking around too late at night after the game, it's crazy. So I don't know why they do that, but I've seen that in at least 5 cities.
Exactly, and that doesn't make any sense. So think about this. Think about this element here. Once we remove ourselves from that element, right? We remove ourselves from that. We start transitioning ourselves into these other jurisdictions that we created and that we start setting up. That's why everyone has to get involved. Everybody has to be looking at and looking at this blueprint. Everybody has to become that member, because you can't participate unless you're a member. You got to be involved to see what's going on. Oh, I need to peak. No, you got to be a member to peak.
Right.
You see, what you're going to contribute. So then that way we can combat against that. But see, that the problem is that that's incorporated area. We get out and we incorporate our own municipality. But then there's also another process that's a little bit more, that's when you have to battle, is when you get a community such as we're made up of several suburbs here in Dallas, right? We have Garland, we have Oak Cliff, we have Rowlett, whatever, and say for an instant, right? I rally all the troops up in Garland, right? And I say, okay, guys, look, this corporation, no, it's not happening. We need to de-annex. That means detach. That means there's got to be a vote and everything. We got to have a majority rule and stuff like that. And then we have to survey, and then we have to break that section off that has maybe 10, 20,000 people in that area. And then we can de-annex off of that and separate ourselves and then incorporate as a different. That's the other way. That's the battle. That's the when you're battling these other idiots in the corporate. So you're not going to break off our stuff and stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, when you do that council vote, not the council vote, it's a city. It becomes a citizens vote. If they vote to separate themselves and detach themselves from the corporation, they have the power to do so. So one of the tactics they use is say, well, what about you're not going to have any 911 service. We don't need you. You don't come over here anyway. You know what I mean? And then your police come over here and brutalize us anyway. You see what I mean? So that when you break that off, then you prevent them from being able to come into your jurisdiction. Unincorporated areas, always look at unincorporated areas. When you do that, the jurisdiction, the law enforcement that has jurisdiction over unincorporated areas is your sheriff, which is still a good thing because your sheriff is a public official. He's elected. Y'all can work together. You see what I'm saying? Until you get your people in, until you get your law enforcement in place. So that's the other benefit to that.
Okay, all right. Final question. Anonymous asks about celebrities or public figures. Have any of them approached you?
Nope. And if they did, I wouldn't use them as the forefront, because that distracts from the purpose. You see what I mean? If they come in, they would have to come in without me knowing it.
Okay.
You see what I mean? They have to do that on their own. You see, that's the go-to marketing thing. And I'm always against that, because like I said, that's a hype tool. And like I said, I don't want you to be getting involved because I got a celebrity. I need you to get involved because you done the work. You've done read. You saw this was good. I mean, it's nice that they were in there, but hey, but that's, like I said, this is real life. You see what I'm saying? So they already got their money. We trying to get ours. We trying to do what we need to do to build assets, so that way we always have something to pass down. You see what I mean? So we can't focus on their lifestyle. We're trying to create our own lifestyle.
This
Dang, Anonymous had a whole bunch of questions, didn't he?
Anonymous can be more than one person. I always laugh because I always think Anonymous is the same person, but really Anonymous, anybody can ask an anonymous question. Okay, so just some final words. I'm going to say this. I'm going to recap. The minimum investment is $100. Campaign closes in 15 days. The $100 minimum investment gets you also 1 year free membership. The membership level of $500 investment to $999 gets you 5 years of membership free. And
That's
then
correct.
$1,000 or more gets you lifetime membership free. If you don't
That's correct.
invest and you just want to be a member, membership is $12 a month. And
That's
that
correct.
information you could get from the website. We have learned so much here tonight, right? We've put in the, if our admin can also put the CCG.coop email in there so that they can, or a website, so that they can have that to go to. There's a lot of videos Tannen has on YouTube. Once the website comes back up on September 1st, you will have access to his suite of education. But there are some videos he's got on YouTube. This has been amazing. I'm gonna do my final words, but you guys know what I'm gonna say, right? I mean, like we've been here doing this for a while. I'm gonna tell you, share the heck out of this campaign page, right? I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you, do your due diligence, consider putting this in your portfolio. I'm not a financial advisor, right? So I can't tell you what to invest in, but what I can tell you is go to that website and look at some of these videos, because this brother dropped gems. You hear me? Gems with a Z on the end, okay, for us tonight. And so this
ain't even scratched the surface. We ain't even scratched the surface.
I believe all of that. I believe all of that. You hear me? We were on here 2 hours and 8 minutes, right? And we have not scratched the surface. And 75 of y'all still stayed here with us for 2 hours, right?
Yeah, wow.
And so this is amazing. This was wonderful. If I didn't think some of the other founders, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I might just do it. As many people as possible need to see this pitch. I'm gonna say that. And so for the members here, I know pitches are special benefits. I know they are, right? And I never want to water them down and show them to the public because you guys paid to see these. But some stuff the people gotta see, right? This feels in my spirit like the people need to see this. This was wonderful. To all of the founders who come here, you guys are amazing too. But this is bigger than any one of us. This is how we get to where we need to get to. This is how we take their rules and play their game to our advantage. This is absolutely, Jessica, game changing. Absolutely, Jessica. That's exactly it. Game changing. And so y'all may see this one on the Facebook group and in the YouTube channel. If you get mad at me, I'll just ask you to forgive me. Hopefully you love me enough that you won't get too mad at me. But as many people as possible needs to see this session. And if they don't make a change, right, after seeing just a little bit we learned here today, then you know, that's on them. But I think 10K is here to change lives. And I believe Tannen did that here tonight with the information he's given us on how to move with this thing. Share the campaign. Everybody, you know, please put it on your social. Tell your friends and family. 15 days. If you decide this fits in your portfolio, please do your due diligence. Tannen, how do you want to take us home tonight?
I'm gonna do something I shouldn't be doing, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I tell y'all what, I'm gonna extend that to the kids for y'all. If anybody, this is what we're gonna do. Now, see the share, like I said, the shares don't come out of the co-op; they come out of my personal shares. If I see that you were here on the 10K project and you invest, anybody here on the 10K project that invest the minimum of the 1,000 on there, that's on there, I will match that with each one of your kids under at 17 years or under. I'll match it with my own person. I will gift 1,000 to each one of your kids to get them started. And that's just only until August 31st. When it closes on 31st, all bets is off. So how I'm going to be able to know that it's you, you're going to have to mention the 10K project. you're gonna have to reach out, send me an email or something. I'm gonna
Let me help you out. Let me help you out, Tanny, because we've done something similar like this before with a couple of founders that have had products. When what we've done before is when the threshold has been met. So in this situation, anyone who invests $1,000 or more before the campaign ends, they can send me an email at trivers@the10kproject.com. What I'll do is I'll put those names, they'll give me their names, phone number, and maybe address, because it'll help you find them right on your back end. That's probably the demographic
on my
information.
back end.
Yeah. So if you do $1,000 or more, you send me your name, your phone number, and your address, I'll create a spreadsheet. And at the end of the campaign, I'll send that to Tannen. So then that way he'll know which of you came from the 10K project. Because if you're anything like me, you'll be so excited, you'll go to invest, you'll forget to mention 10K, and then he won't know this is where you won, that you get the special deal. So I'm willing to do that. It's a little extra work, but again, this is necessary. So I'm willing to kind of monitor that for you.
Now, in addition to that, in good faith too, also go ahead and send an email to Tawana ASAP. Right, do that now before you do your invest. Go ahead and send it to her. When you do that, send her your first name and last name and the email, so I know you're separated. And then I'll give, since the website is not up, I'll give each one of y'all 600 free shares. And like I said, at no cost to start, just like I was giving to everyone else. I'll give you 600 free shares to everybody that gives her the information in that, so then that way I can go ahead and process that and get that over to
that's for still for the $1,000 level?
No, that's separate. That's separate. That was just
you're trying to blow up my box now. Wait a minute now, Tanny. Now you're trying to blow up my box.
This would be for everybody. No, this will be everybody. Everybody who came in. Everybody that came in tonight. I know some people left, and I'm sorry.
Actually, so you know what? For everybody that came in, I don't think we don't need them to tell us who they are. So I know who was here tonight. So I can pull a list of everyone who was here tonight, and we should be able to get that information to you to give them that.
All right, cool. Then I'll hook that up, and then anybody that does, in addition to that, the free gift of the 600, anybody that does the 1,000 or more, like I said, I'll match that share. So that means if you spend 1,000. That gets you 100,000 shares. So that means if you have 3 kids, that's an additional 100,000 shares, 300,000 shares.
Okay, so let's just make sure, guys, for you guys that are here, and for anybody watching the replay, make sure you understand. If you do the $1,000 investment or more, that is when you are emailing me, trivers@the10kproject.com, to let me know you've done that level, that investment level. I'm going to send your information over to Tannen via spreadsheet at the end of the campaign to say, these are all the people who we're matching for the kids, right? If you are here tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him the participant list where he can give you the extra share. But y'all, just because y'all were here, don't email. I don't want all those emails, okay? I only want the $1,000 or more emails. Y'all hear me, right? We're going to automatically send him the list for people who were here in the participants list, because you all hit the thing to register, and we should be able to have all of you who were here, even those that didn't stay to the end. So
let me answer to Tracy. Tracy, you can do your niece if you get permission from her parents to do that. Your niece can be in there if you do that. I'll honor that with your niece, as long as she's under 18.
Awesome.
Because I have some brothers that do that for their nieces and their uncle nephews, and I did that as well. So
very good. Okay, this was amazing. This was awesome. Thank you so very much. Again, I don't want this campaign closes in 15 days. In 27 days, don't be sending me no emails, y'all. Talk about nothing. 15 days. This is when we have to activate. Y'all know that's my new word. This is when we need to activate. 15 days left in this campaign. And we see the road that this is on. So if this is something you want to invest in, you need to activate. Okay.
Yeah, and just remember, remember we're moving into a next phase. Everything is never the same in the next phase. So I mean, watch the. Now remember, see, this is another thing. Hold on, no, let me drop this one last thing, and then we're gonna shut it down, Tawana. Now I want you to understand it, because I want you to pay attention when you get this, when you get the information and you get the notice from the transfer agent, so for you to claim your shareholder account, to look at everything. I want you to pay attention to something. Look at the campaign right now. This is not going off of this thing. This stays on this site, right? Amongst us, Tawana, is that correct? You don't put this on YouTube or anything. You just share. What do you do?
Well, typically we don't. Typically, it's just a link for members. We email the link out to the members.
Okay, keep that. Just keep this for the.
But a moment ago, I felt it in my spirit that maybe this should be a public session. So maybe you should not say what you want to say, because if I make this is okay. So because I want them to understand how they're going to be able to look at the wealth, because you see the term, because you already talked the terms, so but we're amongst everybody. That's fine. But think about this. You see that the stock is worth what? A penny right now. Right now. Right.
Now, any donated stock that comes from me, right, whether it be the 600 or the gift of the additional shares to the siblings for you meeting that minimum investment threshold, if you decide to do that, right, those come out at my value, at par value. They don't come out at the penny. So their value is way lower than the market price. So you're getting them at my cost, which is 0.001. So you're already going to see a price appreciation when you take the shares that you have, like the 600, right? The 600 are already going to be worth 60 cents when you get them, because I'm donating to you at par value, but the market rate right now is a penny per share. You see what I'm saying? So I've already going to make you 60 cents. So you see what I'm saying? So that's how I want you to calculate any gifts. Not what you invest. What you invest is what you invest at that rate according to the campaign. But any gifts that are giving to me, that also that's going to be at that par value. And pull up that screen real quick. I want you to. We missed something on the thing. Pull up the True Crowd real quick, Tawana, because you missed one thing there. Because since we talked about that, we have to think about this over here.
Oh, hold on a minute. I closed out the campaign page. Hold on, let me pull it back up.
Because this is a term, so you want to make sure that you're looking at your one of the terms right here. Can somebody let their dog in?
Mine. They know we've been on here for 2 hours too.
Yeah, he talking about Tanner, get off my screen. That's like, get out of here. He said if I was there, he'd bite me. Yeah, go ahead and scroll down. Scroll down under the bonus here. Okay, look at number 2. Look at the second bullet point. I want you to read that too, and I want everybody to get that one. If you do your investment of this, I want you to look at this term here.
Okay, so bullet 2 says when you invest $500 to $999, you will receive 5 years of active cooperative membership, a CC group member embroidered logo left chest T-shirt for free, and the founder of the company will be gifting an additional 50 million of his own personal shares to be equally divided amongst the first 2,500 investors who take advantage of this early offering. The additional shares equate to 20,000 on top of the original investment. This bonus is separate and cannot be combined with any other bonuses.
So you know what that means. So anybody that invests the minimum of the 100 or more, they get an opportunity to get a piece of the separate $57.5 million that I'm giving away to the first 2,500 investors. So that's already been in play. I just wanted to make sure y'all pointed it, because there's an article already out on that. So now you qualify when you make the investment of the minimum. Now you qualify to get a piece of that when I split that up, in addition to what you already get.
Interesting.
You see, so that's why it's important. I want y'all to make sure you're reading the terms.
You have to read this whole, and I tell them
look,
that all the time. Reading this entire campaign page is critical. The pitch
yes.
deck is here. Like, reading all of this is
Mhm.
critical, because it's a lot of great information here.
Yeah, it's there. And then when the website comes on, there'll be some other stuff on there for you. Once you're locked in in there, when the website comes back up, there's going to be all kind of gems in there for you. In addition to that, that's going to help you be able to earn additional shares and stuff like that by sharing, by it records if you're watching the video, how far you went through it and stuff like that. It's recording it, and it's tallying up points and stuff for your participation, where you're vesting and you're earning those shares and stuff like that through your activities on the website. So it's
Nice.
there. So I'm gonna cut it off there. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
we'll save some for another show.
We gotta save some for the Reg A round. We gotta save some gems for the Reg A round.
Well, we might have a second round here. We might have a second round here on this thing. Like I said, we got 2 weeks coming in, so there's a lot of stuff going in. So what happens in these last 2 weeks is going to determine if we're going to extend. If we extend it, we won't be extending it with, and that's what I was going to tell you earlier. If we extend it, we won't be extending it with True Crowd. We got another. We had a big meeting on Monday, so we finna go to another. We're gonna go to another high power platform. We're gonna try to reach as many people that we can and prep for this Reg A. Get them in early before this Reg A. I mean, it might be a little higher, but it's best to get in before this 31st. Because like I said, all this offer goes away. What we just offered tonight, just for 10K project only, and other than that, it's going to go away after that, and then you'll be subject to the new terms. But regardless, get it out to the folks, man. This is about us, y'all. This is about us. This is about us raising the capital and stuff like that, and let you know. Look, check this. Look what I got in the mail. I'm gonna be sporting. When I be doing my spots, my commercial, because I do all my stuff.
That's what's up.
I'm gonna put that out there. That's how many people we need. We need 10,000 people coming in with 100, 500, 1,000, a mixture of that 10,000 plus people for us to make a dent. Because when we come through the door, we coming through and we tearing it down. So hope y'all with me.
That's what's up, Tannen. This was wonderful. This was I cannot wait to continue to learn from you, brother. Thank you for being so open with this knowledge. That's going to change our lives and make us stronger. And so thank you so much for all of you who are still here watching live. Y'all are riders. I absolutely love this community. Thank y'all so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for riding with 10K Project. Cherie and I are forever grateful to you guys. This is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. We keep getting amazing founders like this coming in here, educating us and creating things that are going to change our lives. We're going to get to this generational wealth. This is not just a slogan for a t-shirt. We on our way. We on our way.
Exactly. Yes, grandkids as well. I don't want to leave the sister hanging. I'm reading. Okay. I'm reading the chat too.
All right.
Yeah, grandkids.
All right. We gotta
too,
go.
Sister, yeah.
We gotta go. My dog got to go to the bathroom.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave out of there. Okay. All right.
Bye, y'all. This is amazing. Have a blessed night. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you.
All right. You have a good one. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.